A while back I overlooked the BufferedGraphics object because I thought it was just an abstraction from the normal ways of going about creating a back buffer, and I recently realized that it's actually a pretty elegant way of implementing a back buffer, and it also is a bit easier on your resources than typical ways creating a back buffer with a canvas and whatnot. Earlier I was getting problems where the ruler, after it was expanded to a certain point, would just have a big red X. So I had to change out the BufferedGraphics, so I went ahead and implemented the .NET BufferedGraphics object. And I might as well talk about the application before we get into how the BufferedGraphics. So yeah, this is the ruler application, and you're basically just measuring pixels on screen with ease, and you can right click and it will copy the tracked position to clipboard, and you can also make the form transparent if you need to see things behind the form. And whenever the height is greater than the width or vice versa, the ruler graphics will adapt to the dimensions to look more like a ruler. Also, you've got this label here that keeps track of where your cursor is on the form. Okay, so let's get into the BufferedGraphics object. The first thing that you need to do is create a BufferedGraphics member and just leave it unassigned. And the second thing that you need to do is create an update graphics buffer method, and you want to call this method at the end of your constructor in your control, and then whenever your control is resized. So let's go to the definition. Okay, so you want to define a BufferedGraphics context object, and then you're going to use the BufferedGraphics manager to get the current BufferedGraphics of the current application domain. After that, you're going to use the buffer context objects method allocate to get the graphics buffered, and you're going to pass in a graphics object created from the control that you want to paint on, and then the bounds that you want to paint within. Make sure that you have a call to your update graphics buffer method within either the onResize event of your control or the onSizeChanged event, just so that your back buffer can adapt to the size of the form properly. If you're looking for the ruler application, it will be in the utilities page in my website. You also might be interested in this draw texture method where it tiles my seamless texture onto the form.